Hey friends, welcome back to another speed build. Today I am building a house for the Monty family from The Sims 2 from Veronaville. And I'm building this on one of the lots in Windenburg on the island. I'm kind of planning on using the island as, pretty much just for the Monty family from The Sims 2. So this part of the family is Antonio and his two kids. There's basically three different households of the Monty family from The Sims 2, so this is the first one. And when you start the game in The Sims 2, they don't actually live in a house yet. They're just available to move in somewhere. So I decided to build this house based on 111 Stratford from The Sims 2. And yeah, it's kind of like in The Sims 2, there's not like a ton of different building styles, I feel. I think it was supposed to be kind of Italian or like Mediterranean inspired. It looks very Spanish in The Sims 2, and maybe that was what they were going for, but I think they were just limited by, the sort of items and whatnot that they had. So I wanted to make this a bit more like like a Tuscan villa sort of feel. So I used quite a bit of stuff from Horse Ranch, which worked out really nicely. The stone from that especially was really giving me that Italian vineyard sort of vibe that I was going for. And the original version of this house is actually a little bit bigger than what I build here, but I think this works out nicely. I think the original lot was bigger, so the house kind of extended out further from like where the tower part is. But I still think this layout, it works nicely for this family. It ends up being 3 bedrooms. It's got a really big like open living area, and then I use the tower, at least the second floor part of it for like a small art studio. And then the first floor, it's kind of like a big hallway, and then there's like a small office. And I think that, I think that works well. And I used pretty much all the windows from, what pack is that? The My Wedding Stories. They had that kind of Mediterranean sort of look that I was going for. So that was really nice. And then I used for these bathrooms, I used the tile from the Courtyard Oasis kit. They were kind of giving me that Greek Mediterranean feel that I wanted, even though I know it's like supposed to be more Italian, but I still think it fits in pretty well. And like I mentioned, this house is for the part of the Monty family that includes Antonio and then his 2 kids, Beatrice and Benedict. And kind of the background is that Antonio, he was married to Hero, was his wife's name, and she died, and there's suspicion that she died in this big family feud between the Montys and the Caps, similar to Romeo and Juliet with the Montagues and the Capulets. So now he is, struggling to figure out what to do. If he apparently works at a restaurant, he's like an executive chef in The Sims 2. And he's trying to decide if he's going to keep working and just hire someone to help like babysit or take care of the kids, or if he's gonna quit his job and just focus on raising the kids. So interesting lore there. And I'm thinking I might actually build a restaurant on the island as well, that maybe he owns and that he runs, maybe using Dine Out. I think that would be pretty interesting to kind of add to the background and the lore for this part of the family. So here in the kitchen, I decided to go with the counters from Horse Ranch to give it that sort of more rustic kind of Tuscan vibe that I wanted to bring through. And yeah, I think this works out pretty well. I used terracotta sort of stone floors throughout the main floor, and then I use a lot of wood flooring on the second floor, which I think makes sense. This sort of tile floor is pretty common in warmer climates, to kind of keep it cooler on your feet, which is always good. And I thought the appliances, like the fridge and the stove from Growing Together, made sense in here. They're, a bit higher end, but they have that very classic look. And I wanted to make sure that Antonio had a pretty nice kitchen to work in. And I also added in some of these like wine bottle racks. I think my plan is that for the main Monty house that I'll do probably in a couple weeks, is to have like a vineyard and, a place to kind of smash the grapes and create wine or nectar in The Sims. And they like make their own nectar and sell it in the restaurant and all of that. And that's one of the ways that they've made their money. And I was going to try to do some of that on this lot, but it's a bit small, and I really wanted to do a vineyard justice. So I think having it on the main family lot will just make more sense anyway. I'm looking forward to doing that. And I had kind of skipped ahead a little bit, and I'd pulled out a bunch of stuff for the kitchen. So I'll go through and kind of put all of that on the counters. And then I decided to put in a fireplace in this dining room. And I used the fireplace from Horse Ranch as well, since it matches in with the stone and everything that I'll use on the outside of the build. And later on, I'll build an actual like chimney thing for that fireplace. So yeah, I'll do that later. And then just adding in all of the clutter items to the kitchen here. And I just used one of the shelves from Dream Home Decorator to get the that pan up above the cabinets, and I thought that looked great. So and then just a small little powder room down here. I used this more decorative mirror. I thought that fit in with the style. And then for the living room, I also add in the same sort of fireplace. I'll also add in a chimney, just a chimney, And I kept the furnishings pretty simple. I used the couch from the Desert Luxe kit, and I believe that chair is from Growing Together. And then these end tables are from Cottage Living. I really love those end tables. I know it's like a weird thing to just like really love, but they just look really nice. So I use those. I think I also use those in the like primary bedroom later on. And then I did this sort of built-in bookcase on either side of the fireplace. I'll move it here in a second. And then these are from the Book Nook kit. Those work out nicely. And then that will pretty much wrap up the living room once I add in a few more decorative items. So I was just working on my calendar for what videos I'm putting together in the coming weeks, and I actually don't think Veronaville is going to take super long. I think all of the actual family houses will be done probably by the end of November. And there's also a few commercial lots that I'll probably do from Veronaville. But I mean, there's a good chance that I'll be done with this by the end of the year, which is kind of crazy. Like, that seems quicker than I was expecting. And that's only just doing these ones on Tuesdays, because I think I'm gonna use Saturday to do kind of more general builds. Probably wrap up pretty soon. Then I'm not sure if I'll do anything else from The Sims 2. I mean, those are kind of the three main worlds, like the Pleasant View, Strange Town, and then Veronaville. I was thinking I might do. I think it's called River Blossom Hills is the one that came with the Sims 2 Seasons. There's like a bunch of different lots there, but I also don't know if that would be as well known. So I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure that out. If you have any thoughts, please let me know if you'd like to see any of those lots. And here is just where I'm doing this small little office. I just kind of put that in there. I thought that was a good use of that space, since the layout of this house is a little bit odd. The tower especially is kind of definitely unique. So I definitely wanted to have it in there and really get some utilization out of it. And then I've got this nice big patio area in the back. I use this pergola. I think that may have been in the base game. I think it was one that they added with a base game update when they did, because they added a few different things for like Hispanic Heritage Month, like a couple years ago. I think that's what that's from. But yeah, so I just do kind of like a little outdoor kitchen. The way that the grill works, like since, you know, the top has to open, of course, you can't really put it against the wall. So I just built the walls completely around it to hide that there's like, that there would have been a big gap there. So I think that looked nice. And then yeah, up here I am doing the main bedroom. And I end up going with this bed from Cats and Dogs. I think that fit in here pretty well. And I do a lot of browns in this room. I don't know, something about this room gives me like 2007 Tuscan kitchen vibes, which feels right for some reason. And I add in a vanity table with some like makeup and stuff. And I imagine, you know, he hasn't really wanted to get rid of any of that stuff yet since his wife has passed recently. So a little bit more, I guess, you know, to help with the story there. And I wanted to add in some plants. I imagine they really loved gardening, especially for cooking. I do some like gardening pots later on that I would imagine he was growing like herbs and vegetables and all of that for his cooking. And then for my video on Saturday this week, I'm planning on doing a house for different roommates of different occults. So I want to have like a bedroom for a wit or like a spellcaster, for like a werewolf, a vampire, maybe one for a ghost. I think that might be kind of interesting. I saw that Little Simsy had done a video about doing every like room as a different like occult. So I didn't actually watch that video, so I don't know what she did specifically. But it made me think of like doing it for like roommates that are different occults, kind of like, oh, what's that show? I think it was called like Being Human, where like the premise was it was like a vampire, a werewolf, and a ghost who were living together, which I think is kind of funny. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that for Saturday. I think that'll be fun. And I kind of wish I would have done more videos for like the Halloween season, but since I, you know, am new to doing 2 videos a week, I wanted to make sure I could actually do that and sustain it. But yeah, I think now that I've got a good rhythm down, I'm going to try to do more seasonal builds for like my Saturday videos. I was planning out a little bit for December. I think that will all be kind of Christmassy themed, like wintry builds. I have this idea of doing some sort of like Christmas village sort of series. I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I think there will be at least 4 kind of Christmassy videos that I can do in December before Christmas Day. And November will probably be kind of just random videos on Saturday. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do for that. I think one of them will probably be the restaurant that I mentioned. Since that build doesn't, you know, actually exist in The Sims 2, I didn't want to use that as like one of the Sims 2 videos. But I think that will still be a great, you know, build, of course. And yeah, so back in the build, this is Beatrice's room, and she's supposed to be like the more outgoing and kind of friendly of the twins, because it's like, you know, twin kids. So I made her room like very pink and colorful, and you know, a little bit, she's got like the art table and lots of toys, and I thought that fit pretty well. And I will go back and recolor the walls. I kind of forgot to do that. And then for the bathroom, pretty simple, kind of like a copy and paste from the primary one. It's just larger. So yeah, just a few more items in here. And this might be a little bit TMI, but do you ever get it where you cannot clear your throat? It just feels like there's just something in there. I feel like I've had to stop every like 30 seconds while recording this to clear my throat. So sorry if I sound weird. I don't really know what's going on there. But yeah, that is very annoying. So hopefully I can get this done soon. So then over in this bedroom, this one is for Benedict, and he's supposed to be a little bit more reserved, a little bit quieter. So my thought was maybe he is into, he really likes science and maybe, you know, games and stuff. Oh yeah, and here's where I add in the chimney for the fireplace in the dining room. So fairly simple. I use the kind of chimney top parts from Seasons, I want to say, and then the same stone from Horse Ranch. But yeah, for Benedict's room, a lot of green. Maybe he really loves like nature and plants and things like that too. And then yeah, I put in the science table. That one is from Snowy Escape. But there's also a base game one, so in case you don't have Snowy Escape, I think that might be the only thing that I used from Snowy Escape. So if that's the only pack that you don't have of the 150 that I used for this build, then you can just swap it out for the base game one. And yeah, just finishing up with some decorations in his room, and then I believe I'll move over to the hallway. I think I just do some more kind of simple decorative stuff in there, like some curtains and whatnot. And then I use these really great posters from, I think those came with Growing Together, that have like photos of like the different worlds in The Sims 4, kind of like travel promo posters or whatever. I thought that was really nice. And then I used that, I want to say that's from the base game, that like cabinet that's full of linens. It's technically like a dresser item, so you can use it to change clothes and stuff. But yeah, I thought that would make sense out in the hallway here. It's just some extra storage. And yeah, here is where I add in the other chimney for the living room fireplace. And yeah, same sort of style. I think that worked out nicely. And not to toot my own horn too much, but I really like how this house turned out, at least, especially the exterior, and especially compared to the original version. Because, The Sims 2 is pretty limited, especially, with their base game. But yeah, The Sims 4, it has a lot of stuff that you can really pretty easily make things look nice. So yeah, I think it turned out really nice. And I mean, obviously it helps if you have a lot of packs, which I know not everyone does. They're very expensive, so I completely understand. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty nice. And then I just do some fairly simple landscaping. I did want it to feel pretty nice and lush. But yeah, so I use these, I believe those are from University, those like climbing vines, which worked out pretty nice over on this side since it's just like a big flat wall. So I wanted to add in a little bit more depth with plants and everything, and I think that definitely helped. Also, can we talk about how I guess there's supposed to be a third expansion pack coming out this year still? That is wild to me. I don't think they've ever done 3 expansion packs in a year. I guess they just had, all the delays from COVID, and now they've got all this stuff that's ready to go. So very exciting time to be, a Sims player, but not a very exciting time for my bank account, unfortunately. So there's a lot of content coming out this year, which, is fun, but expensive. So yeah, if I wasn't making Sims content, I certainly would not be buying packs as quickly as I have been. Normally I would always wait until they were like 50% off, because like I was not going to spend $40 on an expansion pack. So I completely understand if you are the same way and you do not want to spend that much money on Sims content. So yeah, it is kind of wild out here. And I did add a telescope and a chess table to the kind of second floor, I don't know, balcony, I guess, is what that would be. So, more items for your Sims to use. And then I also added in the swing set and the kind of jungle gym for the kids. I thought that would be nice for them. And now I'm just kind of going around and doing all of the lighting for the lot. That was kind of tough to say. A lot of lighting. And yeah, I used these really nice chandelier items from Growing Together, I believe. So those worked out really nice. And then yeah, that will pretty much wrap up the build here in a minute. And I just want to say thanks again for watching. I know there's a million things you could be doing today, and I've really enjoyed doing this Rebuilding The Sims 2 series, and I hope you've been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun putting it together. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. That helps a lot, and please subscribe if you would like to see more. Thank you so much. Have a great day.